I'm Andy from Incredible Edible Wakefield, and this is the 11th in our tutorials, Stay Home and Grow Your Own. And today we're going to be sowing either peas, or Mangetout, or sugar snap peas. They're all grown in the same sort of way. So equipment wise, what we're going to need, we've got compost, we're going to need a marker pen or a pencil, we're going to need scissors, we're going to need our seeds. These are Mangetout taller golden sweet Mangetout. We're going to need some water. If you haven't got a small watering can, then just a water bottle with pinholes picked in the top will do just as well. This little piece of kit is quite handy. You can probably still get them on the internet. These are to make plant pots out of newspaper. But appreciate not everybody's going to have one of those at home, so if you have a look in your kitchen cupboard, this is just a bicarb of soda cylinder. It wants to be something that's about 2.5 inch diameter, solid base to that, if you can see. And we're going to use that instead to make our plant pots. We're going to need newspaper, and that's going to be cut into these strips that are probably about 5 inches, about 125mm wide. We've got that the full length of the paper. We're going to need saucers, so we're going to use meat trays, the old meat trays, rather than throwing those away. No holes in this one, it's acting as a saucer, it's just going to catch the water. And we're going to need labels, so you can use lolly sticks. If not, get your old ice cream tubs, your margarine tubs, cut strips out of those, and you can make your own plant labels that way. You can also do these in bedding plant trays, but this might show you one of the problems I find, that peas put roots down very, very quickly. So in no time at all you can see we've got roots sticking out of the bottom of this tray here. And I don't like the roots disturbing, so then getting that out of that pot and into the ground without disturbing the roots can be quite difficult. The benefit of doing these in newspaper is we can plant the whole pot into the ground, newspaper will biodegrade, the roots will grow through it, and we can get that in without the roots being disturbed too much. The other problem I tend to find with peas is that the pea seed needs a lot of water to start it to germinate. And if you put them in the ground direct, what you find is they may not all germinate because it's very hard to keep it damp enough for those to successfully germinate. So another trick here is I've got an old margarine tub, I've put a few layers of kitchen roll in the bottom of that and soaked it through. And what I've done is put my pea seeds on there. These were only done yesterday as an example. But within a couple of days, you will start to see the little roots coming out of the side as these start to germinate. And what you can do then is, at that point, while they're still quite small, you can use them, and then you will know that the seed's already germinated when you plant it out, rather than taking a chance that it may not have done. So if we get started, first of all we need to make our plant pots. So I've cut this out of the newspaper already. I get my bicarb. The raggy edge I'm going to use at the bottom here. I'm going to put it there, tightish, but not that tight that I can't get the pot out afterwards. And the depth of newspaper that we're allowing here doesn't want to be wider than the diameter of the pot, because we're going to fold that under afterwards. So if we roll that along, I've got about 2 layers of newspaper here, but because I'm rolling it a few times, we'll probably end up with about 4 or 5 layers. You can see that there. Tip is to fold it first where the vertical join is on the newspaper, and then the next bit's underneath again, and finally there. And then we need a nice solid surface. Hold that down there, and push it down, and just give it a bit of a twist, so that we compact that newspaper. We have our little plant pot. So there we are. The next stage, I'm going to cheat a little bit. We would get these, bob that inside there. We'll probably sit about 6 inside here, and carefully fill that with compost. We're not worried about any coming down the sides, because that will help the roots that come out the bottom. Carefully fill the pot with compost and press it down with your finger. We need the compost to be nice and compact so that the plant's roots aren't waving about inside gaps between the compost, because they need to be in contact with the compost for them to be able to draw in the moisture and the nutrients that they need to grow. I've left that probably about 1 centimetre down from the top. It's fairly compact. Fine there. And then I'll take my next one and start again. So, true blue pea to passion. Here's one I did earlier. So, normally we'd be taking our seeds, I'll cut through there, Just give them a tap so they're all at the bottom, so we're not cutting any accidentally. Fairly big seed, so you can cut these out into your hand. You can see those. Basically a dried pea. You can have a go if you've got dried peas at home. If you haven't got access to seeds, you could have a go with some dried peas. So in this case, what I'm going to do is use the peas that I pre-soaked yesterday. Be careful with these now. One pea in the middle of plant pot. Find it easiest to put one pea in first rather than plant one and then do the next one, because it's very easy to get distracted, and then before you know it, you can't remember which plant pot had got a pea in and which hasn't. You need about the same depth of compost as the thickness of the pea. So if you think that's about 8 to 9 millimetres deep, so it wants to be about 8 to 9 millimetres below the surface. It may be better with this, rather than risk damaging the seed. I'll just use my pen as a dibber here, pop that in there, and a little push down, and then we'll just add a little bit more compost over the top of that, just so the seed is covered up. Partly being in the dark that tells the seed it's okay to start growing. It's partly the temperature, so these will want to be on a warm windowsill somewhere, and it's partly the moisture getting drawn in from the watering that starts the chemical process of germination. So, we'll add our label now. So these are Mangetout, golden sweet. Some people like to also add a date on these, so that if you're sowing a lot of plants, if some are unsuccessful in germinating, you'll know when they've been in there a while. Right, water-wise, what we're going to do with this one, I'm going to set the lid off this. You can do this straight from the tap. We need to be quite gentle. As I say, we used a meat tray with no holes in the bottom, so we need to add enough water so that these pots will now start to soak up. So, fill in that with water gently. I'll leave it a little bit, some of that to soak in, and add some more. And if you do this over a process of a few minutes, what we want is to see the whole plant pot soaked in nicely. Keep an eye on it, check again in another hour or so. We need that compost to be nice and moist. Hopefully, if we've pre-germinated the peas as well by doing them in the lure roll, like I said before, we know that the plant has already started germinating, so the process is underway. So we just need to keep that moist for the next few days. So that's been our pea or Mangetout or sugar snap tutorial. Hope you've enjoyed it.